Hello again. So I wanted to make a separate video about decimals because maybe this is something that you want to focus on instead of fractions. So just to repeat, I'm going to go over some problems. Some problems I'll give the answers to, but most of the problems I'm pretty much just going to walk you through or get you started on them just to make sure you're on the right track and then kind of let you finish. One piece of advice that I would recommend is solving the problem with the video on pause and before I actually get to the answer, because then you can go back and see if your work looks like my work, or if you use a different strategy, if our answers are the same. So let's first start by adding decimals. So when we're finding the sum, we want to make sure that we line up the decimals. And then this way I could add each place value just like I would with any whole numbers. I just bring my decimal point down. So now we have adding decimals, except I see one number without a decimal. But what I really do know is that there's an imaginary decimal in there and it comes after the whole number. So I am going to set up my first addend, so my first number, and then I am going to write the 12 below, knowing that there's a decimal point after, and using zeros to fill in. And from here, I could add each place value and bringing down my decimal point. The same exact thing goes with subtracting decimals. So I have 5 and 316 thousandths minus 1 and 942 thousandths. And from here, as long as my decimal points are lined up, I can subtract just like I normally would with whole numbers. The thing is, with subtraction, I will need to make sure that I borrow if needed, if I can't take 4 from 1 or what is really 40 from 10. So then I could actually subtract, I continue this problem, and I might need to do a little extra borrowing. Okay, so now I have another subtraction problem, except I see that one of my numbers, or my first number, my top number, does not have the same number of decimal places as the other number that I'm subtracting. So I need to fill in zeros so that they all line up and that they end in the same place value. So now I have a problem about Felix. Felix's cat food was $8.86 and his treats were $4.99. How much did I spend on him this weekend? So what I need to do is I need to figure out what I'm even doing. Am I adding? Am I subtracting? Well, I know that I spent some money on food, and I know that I spent some money on treats. So if I were to subtract, I'm finding the difference of those prices. But that doesn't mean that's how much I spent. When I figure out how much I spent, I'm looking at the total cost. And when I think about total, I'm thinking about addition. And we know with money, money only goes to the hundredths place. All right, Troy spent $22.86 at Kohl's. He paid with a $20 bill and a $5 bill. How much change did he get back? So when I think about how much change is he getting back, he's getting less, right? He's getting less than the $25 he gave. So I first figure out that, yes, he is giving $25 to the cashier. And then I have to figure out how much he spent. And then I find the difference to see how much change he gets back. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because you have to do a lot of borrowing. So, first of all, I'm going to look at my problem and see where I need to start. I know that I need to subtract. So 6 from 0, I can't do that, so I need to borrow. So I'm going to turn this into a 4 and this into a 9 to make 10. So if you look, you can see that this is 50, and then since I'm borrowing 1, it turns to 49. 10 minus 6, cross that one off 2, is 4. 9 minus 8 is 1. I'm going to drop that decimal point down, and then I want you to finish solving. Don't forget to put your money symbol when working with money. I can multiply decimals. Finding the product. So whenever I think about the product or multiplying, I'm going to treat this like whole numbers. The only thing that I'm going to do differently is I am going to look at how many numbers are behind the decimal point. Because I'm really only finding a smaller amount of 67. I'm going to put a 1 up in the corner because that's how many numbers I need to move the decimal point over. So I'm going to rewrite this so it's a little bit neater. Alright, and 8 times 7 is 56. I'm going to carry my 5. And then I can finish solving my math problem. 8 times 6 is 48 plus 5 is 53. Now, I'm not quite done yet because I still need to put this decimal point with one number behind the decimal. So here we have a similar type of problem. I see that there's one number in each factor behind the decimal point, so there's 2 total. And then once I actually solve and treat them like whole numbers, I need to have 2 numbers behind the decimal point. So I'll let you finish out that problem. Remember to pause as needed if you need to pause the video and work on the problem yourself. This next problem, I am going to write the number 482 times 72. Oops, let's erase that. Let's write the correct problem. 487 times 72, but I need to think back at how many numbers were behind the decimal point in each of the factors, which was 1, 2, 3, and that's how many I will need behind the factors, or how many numbers I will need in the product behind the decimal point. So, 2 times 7 is 14. Carry the 1. I continue to do my math. 2 times 8 was 16, plus 1 is 17. 2 times 4 plus 1 is 9. I put my placeholder because I'm moving over to the tens place. And then I can finish solving that, making sure that whatever answer I get down below, I move the decimal point over, so there's 3 numbers behind the decimal point, or I move it over 3 places. And if I need to add zeros, I need to add zeros. All right, a grocery store sells grapes for $1.99 per pound. You buy 2 3/4 pounds of grapes. How much do you pay? So I need to multiply 199 times 234. Remembering what we did in the last few problems, I need to figure out how many numbers are behind the decimal point. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need 4 numbers behind the decimal point in my final product. The other thing to remember is that when working with money, we want to round to the nearest hundredths place. So there should only be 2 numbers behind the decimal point. So you need to either make sure that you're rounding up or keeping the number the same and rounding down. Finding the quotient. Let's look at number 21. I see that my dividend is going to be 5.6. That's the number that goes on the inside. And then 7 is my divisor. And I need to focus on knowing that the divisor needs to be a whole number. And once I figure out that it's been a whole number, I already have that taken care of, so I can now divide. I need to move the decimal point up. So 7 goes into 5 0 times. And so then I would figure out how many times 7 goes into 56. And I know that is 8. And I multiply. 8 times 7 is 56. I subtract, and I bring down. And I'm left with none as a remainder. No need to round in any of these problems. All right, so I see 2.6 in this problem is the first number, so that means it's my dividend. And 2/100 is my divisor. So the one thing that you want to remember is we need a whole number on the outside. So I'm going to move the decimal point over 2, but I also need to do the same thing to the inside. So since I have that whole big empty space, I need to add a 0. So now my problem becomes 260 divided by 2. Moving that decimal point up just in case I need it later on. So then you would solve to see what the answer is. But I do know that it's going to go in evenly because this number ends in a 0 and 2 goes into any number that ends in a 0. Finding the quotient of this one, I will help set this one up for you. My first number becomes my dividend. My second number is my divisor. I need to move the decimal point over twice, and then I end up moving it up. I purchased movies this past weekend at two different stores. Target had movies on sale for $24.99, and Walmart had movies on sale 5 for $58.99. So first of all, we need to figure out how much each movie was at Target. So if 2 were for $24.99, how much is one movie? I would take the amount of money and I would divide. Again, you'll have to round because we're working with money, so you need to round to the nearest hundredth. And then you figure out how much the movies at Walmart were. $58.99 divided by 5. And ultimately, you're going to want to find which deal is the better buy and which is the cheapest. So if you're going to a store to save money, which generally you don't want to spend extra money that you don't need to spend, if you can get a better deal at Target or at Walmart, you should buy the movies at Target or at Walmart, depending on which one was the better buy. So then you still need to figure out which one was the cheapest. If you have any other questions about dividing decimals or dividing fractions, multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting, turning mixed numbers into improper fractions, please let me know. Please come see me. I'm happy to help. Have a great night.